The massive diplomatic station floated in the neutral zone between three star systems. Inside its gleaming halls, representatives from across the galaxy had gathered for what many considered the most important peace talks in 1,000 years. Commander Zara of the Viridian Empire stood at the observation deck, her blue-scaled hands pressed against the cool metal railing as she watched the chaos unfold in the main chamber below. The talks had been going badly for weeks. Three major civilizations wanted the same thing: exclusive mining rights to the Kepler system, rich with rare crystals that powered faster-than-light travel. The Viridians claimed it by right of discovery. The insect-like Thaxians argued they needed it for survival. The gaseous Nebulans insisted their ancient star maps showed prior claim. And now, somehow, the newest species in the galaxy had become the deciding factor. Humans. Zara had studied their files extensively. They were young, barely having achieved interstellar travel 50 years ago. Their home world was small and unremarkable. Yet here they were, sitting at the table with civilizations that had existed for millennia. The only reason they mattered was simple: they controlled the jump gates that connected the Kepler system to the rest of the galaxy. Impossible, muttered Ambassador Threx, the senior Thasian diplomat, as he joined Zara at the observation deck. His compound eyes glittered with frustration. These humans are children playing with forces they cannot understand. Below them, the three human representatives sat calmly at their designated table. Anna, their lead diplomat, was a middle-aged woman with graying hair who had somehow managed to stay composed through weeks of heated arguments. Ben, younger with sandy hair, served as their military advisor. Sam, the eldest of the three with dark skin and steady eyes, was their cultural specialist. They refused all our offers, Threx continued, his antennae twitching with agitation. The Nebulans offered them 3 star systems. We promised them protection from any galactic threat. The Viridians even offered a permanent seat on their High Council. What more could they want? Zara knew the answer, though she found it as baffling as Threx did. The humans wanted something no one had expected: they wanted all 3 civilizations to share the Kepler system equally. It was an idea so strange that it had taken the other delegates several days just to understand what the humans were proposing. Equal sharing has never worked, Zara said, her voice carrying the authority of someone who had overseen countless territorial disputes. Someone always takes more than their portion. Someone always feels cheated. It leads to war, not peace. The Nebulan ambassador, Whisper of Distant Stars, floated nearby in its containment sphere. Its voice came through the translator as a soft hum. The humans seem to believe they can change fundamental nature itself. They speak of trust and cooperation as if these concepts could overcome millions of years of evolution. Naive, Threx agreed. But dangerous in their naivety. They hold the keys to the system, and they refuse to be reasonable. Zara watched as Anna stood to address the assembled delegates. The human woman looked tired but determined as she approached the central podium. Her voice, when she spoke, was clear and carried easily through the vast chamber. Honored representatives, Anna began, we have spent 3 weeks discussing the future of the Kepler system. Each of your civilizations has presented compelling arguments for exclusive control. You have offered us wealth, protection, and power in exchange for supporting your claims. She paused, looking directly at each delegation in turn. But we cannot accept any of these offers because we believe there is a better way forward. The Kepler system is vast enough to support mining operations from all 3 civilizations. The crystals are abundant enough to meet everyone's needs for centuries to come. What is lacking is not resources, but trust. A wave of agitated sound swept through the chamber. Threx's antennae snapped erect with indignation. Trust is earned through strength, he called out. In nature, the strong survive and the weak perish. This is the way of the universe. The human speaks of ideals that have no basis in reality, added Counselor Vex, the Viridian representative. Her scaled features showed clear disapproval. Every species looks after its own interests first. To expect otherwise is to invite betrayal and destruction. Anna remained calm despite the growing hostility. We understand your concerns. Trust is indeed difficult to establish, especially between species that have never cooperated before. But we believe it can be done, given the right foundation. And what foundation would that be? Whisper of Distant Stars asked, its tone suggesting polite skepticism. Mutual respect, Ben said, standing to join Anna. Recognition that each species brings unique value to any partnership. The Thaxians have the most advanced mining technology in the galaxy. The Viridians possess unmatched organizational skills. The Nebulans understand stellar mechanics better than anyone else. Together, you could extract more crystals more efficiently than any single civilization working alone. Pretty words, Threx said, his voice dripping with disdain. But words mean nothing when resources are at stake. How do we know the Viridians will not claim the best mining sites for themselves? How do we know the Nebulans will not manipulate stellar conditions to benefit only their operations? How do we know any of us can be trusted when so much wealth is involved? Sam stood slowly, his weathered face grave. You raise valid concerns, Ambassador Threx. Trust must be demonstrated, not simply declared. That is why we propose to show you something of human nature before we continue these negotiations. A puzzled silence fell over the chamber. Zara leaned forward, curious despite herself. The humans had been full of surprises since the talks began, but this sounded different somehow. Earlier today, Sam continued, Ambassador Threx made certain accusations regarding human honesty. He suggested that we have been less than truthful about our own interests in the Kepler system. He implied that we seek to manipulate all three civilizations for our own hidden benefit. Threx's posture stiffened. I stated facts based on logical analysis of human behavior patterns. And Ben here defended human integrity, Sam said, nodding toward his colleague. He stated that our species does not engage in deception when dealing with matters of galactic importance. The exchange became quite heated, as you all witnessed. Indeed, Zara remembered the argument. It had been one of the most intense confrontations of the entire conference. Both men had seemed genuinely angry with each other, their voices rising as they traded accusations and denials. In human culture, Sam continued, when honor has been questioned and cannot be resolved through words alone, we have an ancient tradition for settling such disputes. We call it a formal duel. The word sent a shock through the chamber. Every species in the galaxy understood dueling in one form or another. It was the ultimate test of strength, skill, and determination. The victor claimed not just victory, but validation of their position. You wish to fight? Threx asked, his compound eyes focusing intently on the humans. This could be interesting. According to human custom, Ben said, his voice formal and measured, I have the right to challenge Ambassador Threx to single combat to defend human honor against his accusations. However, Sam added quickly, Ambassador Threx is protected by diplomatic immunity and cannot be compelled to accept such a challenge. Therefore, as the human who initially defended our integrity, Ben has chosen to challenge me instead. Zara felt her scales ripple with confusion. This made no sense according to any dueling tradition she knew. How did fighting each other resolve an argument with a third party? I do not understand, Whisper of Distant Stars admitted. How does combat between humans address the Thasian accusations? Anna stepped forward to explain. In human tradition, when external honor is questioned, the most honorable response is for those whose integrity has been challenged to demonstrate their character through trial by combat. Ben and Sam will fight not as enemies, but as representatives of human values. The outcome will show whether humanity deserves the trust we are asking you to place in us. Fascinating, Counselor Vex said, though her tone suggested more curiosity than approval. And what are the terms of this combat? Single combat with traditional weapons, Ben replied. Pistols at 20 paces, in the ancient manner of our ancestors. Threx clicked his mandibles together in what Zara recognized as the Sien laughter. Your species continues to amaze me. You would kill each other to prove you are honest? This seems counterproductive. The willingness to risk death for principle is the highest form of honor, Sam said simply. If we are not prepared to stake our lives on our word, then perhaps our word is not worth believing. Zara found herself gripping the railing tighter. She had seen countless duels during her long career, fought between members of every major species. They were always brutal affairs, demonstrations of raw power and determination. The winner took everything while the loser was left broken or dead. But something about this felt different. There was no hatred in the humans' voices, no bloodlust in their expressions. If anything, both Ben and Sam seemed genuinely reluctant to proceed. When will this duel take place, she found herself asking. Now, Anna replied. We have prepared a suitable space in Chamber 7. All delegates are welcome to observe. Within minutes, the entire diplomatic corps had relocated to the smaller chamber. It had been cleared of furniture except for an ornate wooden case that sat open on a central table. Inside, nestled in red velvet, were two antique pistols unlike anything Zara had ever seen. These weapons are over 400 years old, Anna explained as delegates gathered around the case. They belonged to a human military officer who fought in what we call the War of Independence. According to our historical records, they have been used in 7 formal duels. They have never taken a life. Never? Threx asked, his antennae twitching with interest. Then the humans who used them before were poor shots. Quite the contrary, Anna said with a slight smile. They were all excellent marksmen. The results of their duels were simply not what you might expect. Ben and Sam approached the case together. Both men moved with the careful dignity of those participating in an ancient ritual. They examined the pistols without touching them, their faces solemn. I want to understand something, Counselor Vex said. You both claim these weapons have been used in 7 previous duels but have never killed anyone. How is this possible? You will see, Sam replied quietly. Human honor operates by different rules than you might expect. The formal preparations began. Anna took charge as what she called the second for both men, a role that seemed to combine judge, referee, and witness. She carefully loaded both pistols with single bullets while explaining the ancient protocol they were following. The challenged and challenger will stand back to back, Anna announced. On my signal, they will walk 10 paces in opposite directions, then turn and fire. The duel continues until Honor is satisfied. Until one of them is dead, you mean, Threx said. Not necessarily, Anna replied. Honor can be satisfied in many ways. Ben and Sam removed their formal diplomatic jackets and handed them to Anna. Underneath, they wore simple white shirts that seemed almost ceremonial in their plainness. They took their positions in the center of the chamber, standing back to back as Anna had instructed. Zara found herself holding her breath. Around the chamber, delegates from 3 powerful civilizations watched in fascination and confusion. None of them fully understood what they were about to witness, but all recognized its importance. Gentlemen, Anna said formally, you may begin your count. The 2 humans began walking slowly away from each other, counting out loud in perfect unison. 1, 2, 3. Their voices echoed in the silent chamber. Every step seemed deliberate and measured, as if they were participating in a dance rather than preparing for combat. 4, 5, 6. Zara watched their faces carefully. Neither man showed fear or anger. If anything, they both looked deeply sad, as if they regretted the necessity of what they were about to do. 7, 8, 9. The tension in the chamber was overwhelming. Delegates leaned forward, their various sensory organs focused intently on the 2 humans. This was the moment of truth, the test that would supposedly reveal something fundamental about human nature. 10. Both men stopped walking and stood motionless for a long moment. The chamber was so quiet that Zara could hear the hum of the life support systems and the distant vibration of the station's engines. Then, slowly, both humans began to turn around. Ben and Sam turned to face each other across the length of the chamber. 20 paces separated them, their antique pistols held at their sides. The silence was so complete that Zara could hear her own heartbeat pulsing in her ears. She had witnessed dozens of duels throughout her career as a Viridian commander. The Sien combat matches where warriors fought with razor-sharp claws until one could no longer stand. Nebulan contests where opponents tried to disrupt each other's gaseous forms with electromagnetic pulses. Even Viridian honor duels with plasma weapons that could cut through starship hulls. All of those fights had one thing in common: they ended with clear victory and defeat. The stronger, faster, or more skilled combatant won. The weaker one lost, often permanently. It was the natural order of things, the way conflicts had been resolved since the dawn of civilization across the galaxy. But as she watched Ben and Sam prepare to fire, something felt wrong. These two humans showed none of the aggression she expected. No hatred burned in their eyes. No determination to destroy their opponent. Instead, both men looked almost reluctant, as if they were participating in something they wished they could avoid. "Raise your weapons," Anna commanded, her voice carrying the formal tone of ancient ritual. Both men slowly lifted their pistols. Ben's hand was steady, his aim true. Sam's posture mirrored his perfectly, both humans holding their weapons with practiced skill. Zara realized that despite their diplomatic roles, both men were clearly experienced with combat. "On my mark," Anna continued. 3, 2, 1. Fire. The sound of gunshots exploded through the chamber. Two sharp cracks echoed off the metal walls, impossibly loud in the confined space. Smoke drifted from both pistols as the echoes faded into silence. Zara blinked, expecting to see one of the humans falling to the ground. Instead, both men remained standing exactly where they had been. She looked more carefully, searching for signs of injury, but neither Ben nor Sam appeared to be wounded. "What happened?" Threx demanded, his compound eyes darting between the two humans. "Did they both miss?" Anna stepped forward, her expression calm but somehow triumphant. "Gentlemen, please show your targets." Ben turned slightly and pointed to the wall behind him and to his left. A small hole marked where his bullet had struck, at least 3 feet away from where Sam had been standing. Sam performed the same gesture, indicating a spot on the wall behind Ben, equally far from his opponent's position. "I do not understand," Whisper of Distant Stars admitted, its gaseous form swirling with confusion. "Both humans are skilled marksmen, yet both missed their targets completely. Was this accidental?" "Not accidental," Ben said quietly, lowering his weapon. "Deliberate." Counselor Vex stepped forward, her scales shifting color in a pattern Zara recognized as deep puzzlement. "You deliberately missed. But that makes no sense. The purpose of a duel is to defeat your opponent." "No," Sam replied, also lowering his pistol. "The purpose of a human duel is to demonstrate honor. And honor is not always about winning." Zara felt her understanding of the universe shift slightly. Every species she knew measured honor through strength, through the ability to overcome opponents and claim victory. The idea that someone could gain honor by deliberately avoiding victory was completely foreign to her experience. "Explain," she found herself saying. "Help us understand what just happened." Anna gestured for Ben and Sam to approach each other. The two men walked slowly toward the center of the chamber, their movements still formal and ceremonial. When they met, they did something that shocked every alien observer: they embraced, briefly but warmly, like brothers who had been separated and reunited. "In human culture," Anna began, "there are many different kinds of honor. There is the honor of victory, yes, but there is also the honor of mercy. The honor of restraint. The honor of choosing the difficult path when an easier one is available. Ben challenged me because Ambassador Threx questioned human honesty," Sam explained. "I accepted that challenge because our integrity as a species was at stake. We both knew that we had to demonstrate our character in a way that could not be misunderstood." "But you could have simply refused to fight," Threx said, his antennae twitching with confusion. If you did not wish to harm each other, why participate in combat at all? Because the willingness to risk everything for principle is what separates honor from mere words, Ben replied. Anyone can claim to be honest. Anyone can say they value integrity. But when you are prepared to stake your life on those values, then others know you truly believe in them. Zara stared at the two humans, trying to process what she was hearing. But you did not actually risk your lives. You both missed deliberately. We risked our lives by entering the duel, Sam corrected gently. We both fired true shots. The fact that we chose to aim away from each other rather than at each other demonstrates something important about human nature. Which is what? Counselor Vex asked. Anna stepped forward to answer. That humans prefer to build rather than destroy. That we choose cooperation over competition whenever possible. That our first instinct, even in combat, is to find a way for everyone to survive with their honor intact. This is impossible, Threx declared, his mandibles clicking rapidly. Evolution does not create such behavior. Species that prioritize their enemy's survival over their own victory do not succeed. They are destroyed by stronger, more aggressive competitors. And yet here we are, Ben said simply. A young species that achieved interstellar travel in record time. A civilization that has never lost a war because we have never started one. A people who have turned every enemy we have ever encountered into an ally. Whisper of distant stars pulsed with what its species expressed as deep thought. You are claiming that cooperation is more effective than competition. This contradicts everything we know about natural selection and species development. Does it? Anna asked. How long have your three civilizations been fighting over resources? How much energy have you spent on weapons and defenses instead of exploration and growth? How many potential discoveries have been lost because you cannot work together? The question hung in the air like a challenge. Zara found herself thinking about Viridian history, about centuries of territorial disputes and resource wars. About the countless hours spent planning military campaigns instead of scientific expeditions. About the fear and suspicion that governed every interaction with other species. The Kepler system contains enough crystal deposits to power all three of your civilizations for 1,000 years, Sam continued. If you work together, pooling your knowledge and technology, you could extract those resources in a fraction of the time it would take any one civilization working alone. You could explore new star systems instead of fighting over old ones. But trust, Threx said, though his voice had lost some of its earlier aggression. How can we trust each other when we have been enemies for so long? The same way we just demonstrated trust between ourselves, Ben replied. By choosing to be vulnerable. By taking risks that prove your good intentions. We are proposing a new kind of agreement, Anna said, moving to a portable display unit that had been prepared during their duel. Not a division of the Kepler system, but a partnership. Equal shares, equal responsibilities, equal benefits. The display showed detailed schematics of mining operations, shipping routes, and administrative structures. Zara studied them carefully, noting how they were designed to prevent any single civilization from gaining an unfair advantage. The Sien mining technology, Anna explained, highlighting different sections. Viridian organizational systems. Nebulan stellar engineering. Human coordination and dispute resolution. Each species contributes their greatest strengths to the common benefit. And if someone cheats? Counselor Vex asked. If one civilization decides to take more than their share. Then the partnership ends, Anna said simply. But consider the cost of that choice. Any civilization that breaks the agreement loses access to the combined knowledge of three other species. They gain short-term resources but lose long-term opportunities for growth and discovery. Threx studied the plans carefully, his compound eyes scanning every detail. These profit projections, he said slowly. They show each civilization earning more than they would from exclusive control of the system. Cooperation is more efficient than competition, Sam confirmed. When you spend energy fighting each other, that energy is lost. When you spend it working together, everyone benefits. Zara felt something shifting in her understanding, not just of the current situation but of everything she thought she knew about galactic politics. For centuries, Viridian strategy had been based on the assumption that resources were limited and competition was inevitable. The idea that abundance could be created through cooperation rather than seized through conquest was revolutionary. There is still the question of oversight, Whisper of Distant Stars pointed out. Who ensures that the agreement is honored? Who resolves disputes when they arise? We propose a joint council, Anna replied. Representatives from all 4 civilizations, with rotating leadership. Decisions made by consensus rather than majority vote. And if consensus cannot be reached, disputes are resolved through a process all our species can understand and respect. Which is? Counselor Vex asked. Formal dueling, Ben said with a slight smile. But human style. Where the goal is to demonstrate honor and find solutions that allow everyone to win. Threx laughed, the sound sharp and clicking. You would have diplomats shooting at walls instead of each other. If necessary, Sam replied seriously. The point is not the specific method, but the underlying principle. That honor comes from choosing the difficult path of cooperation over the easy path of domination. The chamber fell silent as the alien delegates considered what they had heard and seen. Zara found herself reviewing everything she knew about human history, looking for evidence to support or contradict their claims about cooperation and trust. She thought about human first contact protocols, which emphasized understanding and communication over military strength. About their trading relationships, which were based on mutual benefit rather than exploitation. About their response to piracy and aggression, which focused on converting enemies into allies rather than simply destroying them. Commander Zara, Anna said, addressing her directly. You have served as a Viridian military leader for many years. In your experience, how many conflicts could have been avoided if all parties had trusted each other from the beginning? The question hit Zara like a physical blow. She thought about border wars that started from misunderstandings. Trade disputes that escalated because no one trusted their trading partners. Colonial expansions that turned violent because different species assumed the worst about each other's intentions. Most of them, she admitted quietly. Perhaps all of them. And how much more could your civilization have accomplished if those resources had been spent on exploration and development instead of warfare? Zara could not answer immediately. The implications were staggering. Centuries of scientific advancement that had been delayed by military priorities. Entire star systems that remained unexplored because ships and personnel were needed for defense. Generations of Viridians who had lived in fear instead of pursuing their dreams. You are asking us to change everything, Counselor Vex said slowly. To abandon strategies that have kept our civilizations alive for thousands of years. We are asking you to evolve, Ben replied. To recognize that the universe has changed. There are no more empty worlds to conquer, no more unclaimed resources to seize. The age of expansion through conflict is over. The age of growth through cooperation is beginning. Threx had been studying the partnership documents in detail. These administrative structures, he said thoughtfully. They are designed to prevent any single party from gaining control. But they also make the system more complex and slower to implement decisions. Short-term inefficiency for long-term stability, Anna confirmed. It takes more time to reach consensus, but once reached, consensus lasts longer than domination. And these conflict resolution protocols, Whisper of Distant Stars added. They are based on human concepts of honor that our species may not fully understand. Then we teach each other, Sam said simply. Humans learn the Sien concepts of collective survival. Thaxians learn Viridian principles of ordered governance. Viridians learn Nebulan understanding of stellar harmonics. Nebulans learn human techniques for building trust. Zara realized that what the humans were proposing went far beyond sharing the Kepler system. They were suggesting a fundamental transformation of how galactic civilization operated. Instead of separate species competing for limited resources, they envisioned integrated communities working together toward unlimited growth. There will be resistance, she said aloud. Many individuals in all our civilizations have built their careers and identities around competition and conflict. They will see cooperation as weakness. Change is always difficult, Anna acknowledged. But consider the alternative. How long can the current system continue? How many more wars can the galaxy survive? How much potential will be lost if we keep fighting each other instead of exploring the universe together? The questions hung in the air as each delegate considered the implications. Zara found herself thinking about her own future, about the possibility of serving in a galaxy where military commanders focused on exploration instead of warfare. Where first contact meant partnership opportunities instead of strategic threats. I need to consult with my government, Counselor Vex said finally. This proposal represents such a fundamental shift that I cannot agree to it without extensive discussion and analysis. As do I, Threx agreed. The concept is intriguing, but the implications are enormous. Of course, Anna replied. We understand that this decision cannot be made quickly. We propose a trial period. A one-year partnership to test the systems and procedures we have outlined. If it works, we continue and expand. If it fails, we return to the previous system of competitive bidding. And if we decline to participate entirely? Whisper of Distant Stars asked. Anna's expression became serious. Then humanity will partner with whoever chooses to cooperate. The Kepler system will be developed by those willing to work together. Those who prefer competition over cooperation will be welcome to pursue opportunities elsewhere. It was not a threat, Zara realized, but a simple statement of fact. The humans controlled access to the system, and they were offering partnership to those willing to embrace their philosophy. Those who refused would not be punished, but they would miss the opportunities that cooperation could provide. We will need time to consider this proposal, Zara said formally. And to convince our governments that cooperation is possible. Time you shall have, Ben replied. But while you deliberate, remember what you witnessed here today. Remember that when two humans faced each other with weapons, they chose to preserve life rather than take it. Remember that when their honor was challenged, they chose to demonstrate trust rather than dominance. Remember, Sam added, that sometimes the strongest choice is the one that looks like weakness to those who have forgotten what true strength means. As the delegates began filing out of the chamber, Zara lingered, still processing what she had experienced. The duel had lasted only minutes, but its implications would reshape her understanding of power, honor, and civilization itself. She looked back at the two humans, who were carefully cleaning and returning their antique pistols to their case. These weapons had been used in 7 duels and had never taken a life. 7 times, humans had chosen mercy over victory, cooperation over domination. Perhaps, Zara thought as she finally left the chamber, it was time for the rest of the galaxy to learn what humans already knew, that the greatest victories were the ones where everyone survived to celebrate together. The age of human influence in galactic affairs had begun not with conquest, but with an offer to share. And that, she realized, might make all the difference.